shake out the negative energy because that is just Petunia trying to sabotage me. Alright, so this morning I caught myself almost trying to sabotage my own progress. Again. And then it hit me that we as humans are literally wired to mess up the things that we want most. And stick with me because today we are going to go to war with it. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Notes to Self podcast. If you're new here, I'm Rachel. You can think of this as my open diary on all things personal growth, mindset, self-development, and navigating this chaotic yet wildly beautiful thing that we call life. And today, we are talking about self-sabotage, aka the sneaky little villain that creeps around the second that life starts to feel too good. Like, why is it that the moment that we start to feel happy, fulfilled, and actually proud of ourselves, our brain decides to go, something must be wrong. Let me stir up some drama. Enter Petunia. Let me tell you guys what happened because these past few months, my life has been so good, okay? I'm talking amazing friendships, solid relationships with the people that I care about, getting back into my own hobbies, content creating, feeling confident in myself, and overall, just vibing and having a good time with my life. And then, out of nowhere, I start dipping into this low frequency, and my brain is suddenly like assuming this person doesn't like you, or thinking, let's eat trash food that we know is not going to make us feel good the next morning, or let's not continue to pursue our dreams to make meaningful content. It just felt like I had anxiety about this doom or bad thing that was pending, that was around the corner, just on the brink, waiting to take my life down a notch. I noticed with these thoughts, I also began to start sabotaging certain relationships because of my beliefs around a certain situation, or being more reactive and defensive with my parents, or even just wanting to stay comfortable being lazy instead of being intentional with my days. And I had to stop and think, Rachel, what the hell is happening? And you might be wondering, who the hell is Petunia? Okay, that is my self-saboteur, my friends. And she is the queen of overthinking, of drama, and of chaos in my brain. And she shows up when life starts feeling a little too good. Petunia loves it. Okay, when I decide to binge watch YouTube and decide to doom scroll instead of creating impactful and meaningful content. She is the voice that tells me to snooze my alarm and sleep in, and the one that is telling me that I deserve that late night treat when I know I really don't, and to also skip that gym workout the following morning. She is the one who tells me that it's safer to shrink myself and be quiet so that other people don't judge me, instead of allowing me to show up and own my authentic self. Sound familiar? I'm willing to bet money that you've got a Petunia in your life too. And if you're listening to this nodding your head yeah, that's because sabotage shows up in all of our lives, be it fitness, health, relationships, creativity. Pick your poison, really. So let's call it out for what it is. I've been reading this book called The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. You tell me. And shoutouts to my girl Haley for getting me this, but the author breaks it down so clearly. Self-sabotage is not you being broken. It is your brain's messed up way of protecting you from growth, because sometimes growth threatens our identity. I noticed that this is especially present when we are trying to change a certain aspect of our lives. But why is that? Well, it's because if you are a person who actually does not believe that they can be fit, that they can be successful, or that they can be deeply loved, your brain will try to prove you right by ruining it the second that you get close to attaining what it is that you actually want. It's an identity conflict. Self-sabotage is so freaking sneaky because it just creeps up on you in such subtle ways. I like to use fitness as an example because most people can relate to fitness analogies. If you are a person who deep down believes that you are unfit, that you are fat, that you always have weight to lose, or that you're unworthy of having the dream body that you want, you will behave in ways that lines up with that belief. You'll skip workouts, you'll stay up late snacking, you'll overeat even when you're not hungry, and you'll also get the I deserve it mentality, which is having thoughts along the lines of, wow, I did such a hard workout. I deserve to let loose today and go out for a few drinks. Wow, I have been consistent all month. I deserve to take a week off of the gym. Or I hit my macros and my calorie goals all week this week. I deserve to smash an entire pizza, because why would an unfit person act otherwise? Here's where it gets a bit interesting, okay? Think of your life like a car, and then your brain as the shock absorbers. If what you're used to is bumpy roads, chaos, potholes, that's your baseline, and that is what your nervous system knows. This example actually came to me when I was in Costa Rica back in July. While I was there, I met travelers who had moved to Costa Rica and said that when they travel back to North America, the roads, they feel too smooth. Not enough chaos, not enough potholes, not enough bumpiness. Their nervous systems literally got used to the bumpy roads and the chaos that they did not know how to handle smooth peace. That's what self-sabotage does to your baseline. When life starts feeling too smooth, too good, too peaceful, your brain starts freaking out and it starts trying to create chaos by picking fights, by procrastinating, by making you doubt yourself, just to bring you back to that familiar bumpy baseline. Because having been conditioned to that, anything else would feel so strange and so foreign. Our brains are literally wired to make us see anything unfamiliar as dangerous, even if it means better health, more success, or even just seeing yourself as a new version of yourself for the first time. Your mind will always try and bring you back to what it knows and what it's used to, even if it is not beneficial for us. Another place that I've actually been seeing this play out in my life is my journey with content creation. I've been putting out more episodes, creating short form content. I'm in the midst of rebranding my Instagram page, and mind you, this is actually more than I've done in the last couple months than I have in the past year even. I've been finding my groove with things, and just overall so happy to see myself bloom into this version of a woman that my younger self had always wished for me to become. And then suddenly I'm having doubts. Suddenly I'm thinking that people dislike me, or feeling discouraged that my message and my ideas aren't being received in the way that I would like. What was once creative inspiration turned into hesitation to put myself out there, feeling more held back from doing the thing that would actually help me grow and progress the most, which is putting out more content to, one, help people not feel alone in the struggle and, share my journey with them, and two, to help me refine my craft at what I do. Petunia is right there in my ear telling me not to post it because people are going to think that I'm weird. People are going to think that I'm lame. People are going to think that I am trying too hard and seeing that I'm going nowhere. And this is actually legitimately happening in real time because I created this short form reel that I wanted to post that is related to this podcast episode. And I noticed that my engagement on Instagram is pretty low these days. And so I'm kind of scared to post it. But you know what? Seeing as this episode is about learning to fight the fight with self-sabotage, we are going to post this together, right here, right now, even if it doesn't align with my Instagram algorithm of when my followers will be the most active. Because a big part of how you fight the fight is by not giving a flying about what your self-saboteur is saying, and then doing the exact opposite just to piss them off. Guys, I'm gonna be so for real right now and say that I have so much resistance to posting this at 7 p.m. my time because I feel like I know that personal development content does not perform very well at this hour. People just want to relax and wind down and not have people tell them what to do about their mindset and, direct them in that sense. However, because this is going to be the thing that helps me grow the most, that gives me a thick skin of not caring what people think, we are gonna post it. All right, do we see this? We are clicking that share button. Take that, Petunia. Mother-friggin' Petunia. Not gonna let you stop me today, not today. Today, we are winning the battle. You know, this is actually teaching me a lot about myself too, because I did post this short on YouTube Shorts because I noticed that I have a little bit better reach over there, and I was quite surprised by YouTube analytics because although this is not my highest reach that I've ever received, it is actually my highest likes that I've received on any of my short form content and maybe even my long form content too. So, you know, this just goes to show that if you don't listen to those false beliefs that your self-saboteur is trying to play on you, sometimes it might turn out for the better, or it might give you a positive surprise instead of the negative one that you were assuming. But anyway, I digress. Now that we know what self-sabotage actually is, how else do we fight it? Well, these are the weapons that I have been using. Number 1, name your self-saboteur. Guys, I literally named my self-saboteur Petunia because why am I gonna take anything that someone named Petunia says seriously? Come on now. And, you know, to those of you out there named Petunia, I'm sorry, no hard feelings. That's just what it is for me. You can name your saboteur whatever you want, and I feel like the more outrageous that you make this, the better it is, because then you start to see this self-sabotaging pattern as something that is so beyond silly. And you could name it Gertrude, you could name it Mildred, you could name it mother-frickin' Karen, because we all know that Karen is that bitch who just be complaining about everything. And honestly, maybe I should rename mine to Karen. Naming the sabotaging behavior is actually what helps separate you from the sabotage, and also helps remind you that the sabotage is not who you are. It is just a pattern. Also, for you guys watching the video podcast, I apologize as daylight is going down, but we are doing our best to work through filming this podcast episode. But anyway, number 2 is revisiting your baseline. So, when your brain panics during calm or success, ask yourself, what is it about success that I find dangerous? What feels unfamiliar to me? What feels safer to me about certain actions that don't actually serve me versus the actions that actually allows myself to expand and be happy? And then journal on it. Okay, it's actually getting pretty dark here, so I am going to be right back with some lighting. Alrighty, you guys, we have turned on the lamp behind my camera, and the lighting is what it is for this video, but I'm sure that most of you will also just be listening to audio only, so it's okay. So after you journal on those questions, you are then going to slowly raise your baseline. And some ways to do this are by not making all of these massive changes at once, and instead just making one small upgrade at a time. For example, with content creation, if I had to imagine filming and posting every single day, or filling out a perfect content calendar like some of the pros, that pressure alone will make me resist filming anything at all. But if I shift it to, can I create one short form video today? Can I script out one topic that I'd like to talk about this week? That feels way more manageable. And over time, those reps build up the content creation muscle until filming twice a week, or even more, feels natural. The next way that you can gradually build up your baseline is through celebrating your micro wins. So each time that you feel good, that you feel safe, that you feel accomplished, pause and acknowledge it. This teaches your nervous system that success doesn't mean danger. So, for example, instead of focusing on the final outcome of what it's like to get your dream body, maybe you're going to pause and acknowledge the times where your clothes start to fit better, the times where you're able to run up the stairs without being winded, or maybe the time you catch yourself in the mirror and actually feel good about yourself. Pause and embody that celebratory energy, because that is proof that you are leveling up. The more that you normalize feeling good about progress and about the wins, the safer and more natural that success will feel to your nervous system. The next way to raise your baseline is through replacing old self-sabotaging behaviors and patterns. And so if you usually sabotage your progress with procrastination, overthinking, or numbing, you can swap out those things for more grounding practices. If stress usually drives you to binge watch TV or raid your pantry at 12 a.m. in the morning, try a 2-minute breathwork reset plus self-inquiry. Ask, what is driving me to do this? Am I craving comfort? Am I avoiding pain? Once you figure that out, you can ask yourself what you actually need in that moment to feel better and what you need to soothe in a healthier way. Maybe it's calling a friend. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's giving yourself the reassurance that you wish you would hear from someone else. But the thing is that doing this teaches your nervous system that you can handle discomfort without defaulting to old patterns and habits. You can also try visual exercises too, where you imagine yourself thriving at your new baseline, feeling calm, feeling happy, because the more that you try and sensitize yourself to the feeling of what it's like to be at that baseline, the less that your body will try and resist it. For example, in relationships, you can visualize a conversation with your partner where you're being completely and fully honest and transparent, and that they are receiving it with warmth. And by doing this and visualizing this scenario, you are teaching your nervous system that being vulnerable doesn't automatically equal rejection. The trick is to slowly increase your baseline so that your nervous system sees peace, progress, and success as things that are safe. Number 3 for the weapons against self-sabotage is focusing on the daily needle movers. Self-sabotage wants you to do nothing. So what you're going to do is shift your focus on 1 to 3 actions that you can do that day that are going to move you towards the version of yourself that you love. For me, when I woke up this morning with Petunia yapping in my ear, this is the thing that really helped save me. Like I said, when your self-saboteur is annoyingly loud and trying to tell you what to do, you gotta do the exact opposite. Petunia was yapping about how I should sleep in? Nah. I got up. She's whining about if we really need to get that workout in today. I am slipping on my shoes and I'm already heading out the door. She's ranting about how no one will care about my content, but I'm scripting my next episode. We have to really dig deep on what our self-sabotage is telling us, because the truth is that our brains are wired to resist the very thing that we want most, especially if it's not a part of our norm yet. I know that these are a few of the daily needle movers for me, but for you it could be making sure that your meals are healthy today. It could be journaling for 5 minutes when you know that you're spiraling, or it could be shutting down your phone at a decent time so you're not already behind when you wake up the next morning. The point is forward movement. And forward movement is the ammunition against Petunia and your self-saboteur. Number 5 for weapons against self-sabotage is rebuilding your self-trust. This is huge. Self-sabotage thrives when you don't trust yourself. And so the key is to make micro promises that you can keep to yourself. So for example, if your self-sabotage shows up with food, start with small wins. Drink a full glass of water. Make sure that the first meal that you have is nourishing and intentional, or choose a snack that actually fuels you. These small victories remind your brain that you can follow through. If your sabotage shows up in creative work like it does a lot of the time for me, just start with something manageable. Film a short clip, create a single reel, start outlining a smaller part of a bigger project. Just don't overwhelm yourself with the full thing. Start with one step that keeps your momentum going. And if it shows up in relationships, rebuild trust by keeping little promises there too. If you say that you're gonna call someone back, do it. If you set a boundary, hold it, even if it feels uncomfortable. And if you know that you are prone to reacting and snapping when a loved one brings up something challenging, make a micro promise to pause and respond intentionally instead of reacting automatically. These micro follow-throughs helps remind you and the other person that your word means something, and over time, that trust builds. Every micro promise that you keep is a vote of trust in yourself. You're proving that you can follow through and that you can handle discipline and that you can reclaim control when sabotage tries to take over. That trust builds momentum, and slowly self-sabotage starts to lose its grip. Brick by brick, promise by promise, you start to rebuild that self-trust. And that's the foundation for going to war with self-sabotage and actually holding on to the progress that you want. So here's the hard, unfiltered truth. That scared version of you, he or she is pathetic. They're weak, they're insecure, they're self-serving, and they've been running your life on autopilot, pretending that they're trying to protect you. Every time that you procrastinate, that you overthink, that you avoid the hard things, you are giving that loser a free pass to steal your growth. So here's the hot take. Stop treating your happiness like it's a threat. Every time that you give in, you are training yourself to stay stuck, safe, and mediocre. Show that scared version that you are calling the shots. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a dare. It's a test to see how bad you actually want the things that the new version of yourself actually requires. Fight for the life that you actually want, not for the habits and the patterns that you think that you deserve. You're not here to tiptoe, okay? You're here to annihilate self-doubt, to dismantle excuses, and to run your life with zero apologies. That is today's Notes to Self. I hope that it's a note for you too. And before I end the podcast here, if you don't know, I am rather spiritual, so we're going to do something a little fun today, and we are going to do a oracle card pull to see what other message that the universe has for you in regards to self-sabotage. Alright, so I have 2 decks that I'm going to pull from, so let's see what the universe has to say. What does this person need to know? What does this person need to hear in regards to self-sabotage? So the card that jumped out of the pile is this one, which says, look at the bigger picture, full moon in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius's energy is all about curiosity, about being explorative, and about expanding our perspectives. So with self-sabotage, this card is reminding us to not get stuck judging ourselves for the behavior itself and look at the bigger picture of what the behavior is actually trying to teach us and to utilize it for our growth. Self-sabotage is often a messenger that is showing us our fears, our patterns, our deep-rooted beliefs, and so this card with the energy of Sagittarius is really calling us to explore the deeper meaning of what lesson is behind the behavior. Moving on to our second deck to get an even more detailed message. Oh, we got the forgiveness card. This is crazy. This is so on par with the whole theme of the episode, but when I look at this card, the message that I'm receiving is that the universe is trying to nudge us towards self-forgiveness, self-compassion as a key to overcome self-sabotage. And by letting go of any past baggage or any sort of past hurt, that'll actually be the thing that clears the path towards our own personal growth and also self-acceptance. So, now that you guys have your armor, your weapons, your message from your spirit guides, get out there and fight your self-saboteur. Build that self-trust again and hold on to the life that you want. And don't you dare ruin the good that you have just because you're not used to it yet. If you enjoyed this podcast episode and if it hit home for you, share it with a friend who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow the podcast on Spotify so that you never miss a future episode. Until next time, let's keep going to war with Petunia, Mildred, Karen, whoever the heck it is for you, and let's keep building a life that we actually love. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.